Crypto AI agents is the most hot trend in the crypto right now for 2025. And today we're going to see one of the best projects in the space, crypto AI agent, the agent layer with 4 million users. And today I have the chief AI evangelist of agent layer with me, Matthew. Welcome to my interview.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Nice having you. We did already an interview about 6 months ago, presenting the project to our community. Since then, a lot of things has happened. So we'd like to hear more things about the development of the project, which looks is doing quite well until now, and of course, future plans, roadmap, and many other things, and also how you position yourself for 2025 for this bull run cycle, and much more.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Had a blast here 6 months ago. We've done so much in that time, and yeah, really excited to share kind of an update on what we've been doing as well as what our plans are for the future. So
Awesome.
2025 is going to be a big year for us. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, can you tell us a bit about the genesis of agent layer? So, how it started, what's the specific challenges that you saw in this, and also the AI agent networks that you're aiming to address?
So I think basically overall, we were inspired by this kind of growing gap that we saw in the Web3 ecosystem, where basically there's a lot of potential for certain things with blockchain technology and especially with the intersection of AI. But there was also a lot of complexity. And so, people are talking about things like decentralized apps, smart contracts, wallets, all these types of things, and they're fairly technical, right? Not like the average person may not know too much about this,
Mhm.
and especially I think from the traditional business side of things, there's a lot of developers, there's a lot of businesses that have these ideas, and maybe want to get into crypto and Web3,
Mhm.
but there's scalability issues, there's a lot of technical issues, and so like user adoption has always been kind of a problem in Web3, and
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
we thought to ourselves, like, okay, I mean, this is a clear issue, but also, like, how can we potentially gap this issue with AI? And because we know AI is going to be very impressive in the future, it's going to
But
change
did
everything.
you saw this big
Yeah.
trend of AI agents specifically coming? Did you saw this when you started first this
Yeah.
project before?
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I guess for a bit of background, I traditionally have worked with AI for the last couple of years. And so when like the OpenAI ChatGPT model launched like around 2 years ago, I knew that AI agents were going to become a thing. It was just a matter of time. And I also knew that like definitely it was going to have a huge impact in the Web3 space. So I
Mhm.
decided to kind of marry the two together, Web3 and AI and AI agents, and to kind of create this platform where, ultimately we wanted to make it so that we can increase user adoption in the Web3 space, but then also provide a place where people can come and develop these AI agents and other people can come and use them, right? Fundamentally, that's where we saw the value, and that's what we're building.
Great. So what's the core mission of the of Agent Layer? Is to like elaborate on and transform the AI agents into friends instead of foes of to humanity?
That's definitely part of it. I mean, I think in general, like, a big thing that we've been thinking about is, well, AI capabilities are improving so quickly.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that like the value proposition for them is kind of aligned with us, right? Because if it's not, then obviously, we don't have to talk about making money. Like, humans could go extinct for all we know, right?
Yeah.
I think, seems like a bit of a stretch, but obviously have to prepare for the worst. But also, I mean, I think, more realistically, have to think about like, where how do we align the AI to, do what we want it to do, right? Fundamentally, we don't even have to talk about friends
Mhm.
instead of foes, just aligning it with us on what we want it to do, right? Like for the average
Mhm.
person, hey, I want it to help me, book an airplane ticket, or I want it to, help me do my work and things along those lines. How can we enable it to best do that? And I think it's really essential to have like, of course, all of the capabilities like image generation, video generation, text generation, coding, customer support, but also, making sure it's decentralized, permissionless, all the important stuff.
Do you think that could be even a team of kind of employees with AI agents doing different tasks that
Yeah,
that like personal
certainly.
assistant or some other
Yeah.
things could be done?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think really the future is definitely looking like that. And I think, more and more so people will be able to build businesses from the ground up with just one person, right? You have one person, you're good at, let's say, sales or business, or you're good at coding, and then the AI helps you do the other stuff, right? So it's kind of like supporting cast for you.
Mhm.
And nowadays, like, I think especially running businesses, especially from the ground up, as you probably know, I mean, I'd say your YouTube channel is probably somewhat of a business, right? For sure.
Yeah.
And so thinking about like, what it takes to run something like this, right? From things
Mhm.
like, oh, editing your videos, creating thumbnails, doing the marketing, all these things, right? You could maybe you're doing all yourself, maybe you have a team, maybe you can start to use
Right
AI
now, I have
to
a
replace some
full
of that.
team operating every single day working on that. So actually, I was thinking,
Yeah,
of the especially of the video editing. It looks like
yeah,
it's very close to be taken over from AI instead of the people.
yeah, yeah. Or at least, I mean, I think so. I definitely think like there's going to be an intermediate step, and it's a matter of how long it's going to last. But where
Hmm.
basically the people that know how to leverage the AI right now and most efficiently will be able to 10x their output.
Hmm.
Like if you have a video editor that just use traditional video editing tools, maybe
Hmm.
they get something done in 1 hour. But if you're leveraging AI, maybe you can do it in 10 minutes, right? And so I think definitely the people that leverage AI now will see a big increase in their capabilities. But I think it'll probably be some time until everything's automated.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my
Okay.
take on it.
So, what are some of the tasks that are done from the AI agents that are on the agent layer, for example, now, so people also get to know
Yeah.
more the products?
Yeah. So I think in general, there's a lot of different capabilities. Like I think there's one that allows you to like, trade and gives you tips on, hey, like, here are the things you should buy and here's how you can execute on these trades. There's ones that help you analyze like the security of your wallets. There's a lot of, I think, capabilities that we've built out that have been pretty
Hmm.
useful and have like some of them have like 2 million users, for example, and some of the more recent ones still have a few 100,000 users. So they're popular, and I think useful, but like ultimately what we want to do is enable like developers to come and build out these AI agents for a variety of different use cases, right? So like for example, in your case, right, you might want one that helps you with video editing
Yeah.
and does those capabilities, and that's not available now, but somebody could
Hmm.
come make that, right? And then you could look at it and be like, oh, this is great. I want to either invest in it, right? So that I get like a
Hmm.
percentage. So that in your case you could get like a percentage of the revenue that it makes, assuming that it does really well and other, content creators need to use it.
Hmm.
And then or
So,
you can pay for it, right? So you can say, hey, like
so,
I want to pay X amount of agent token
mhm.
to use this to help me save time, which is time is money, right?
So
So
in this
yeah,
case, how,
I
how
think
how
that's
it
a
works? So I have to invest, for example, and you as a developer, as a company, would develop that and get into the marketplace, or how that would work exactly?
yeah. So I wouldn't say so. Kind of, I wouldn't say like we as the company develops it. It's more like we
Hmm.
have like a developer community
Hmm.
where like developers come and they're incentivized to build out all sorts of different agents for all sorts of different use cases.
Here's where it comes to decentralization of the whole project and
Yes.
also being run on the nodes to be more decentralized, right?
Correct. Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. And so like, we enable them to come use our documentation and then obviously their skills combined together to
Hmm.
seamlessly, like very easily. I think for us, we want to bridge the gap, right? It's basically like saying, hey, there's a bunch of resources online. We pull all the resources together, we add our own input into it. And then we also make it decentralized. And then we also make it so that like as the developer, they are incentivized because they get they get paid essentially, right? Like let's say I spend 10 hours, 20 hours, I build out a first version, you come pay for that AI agent and you use it, then I get paid for it, basically, right? And so it
Hmm.
allows me to leverage my skills and build something
Hmm.
that's immediately useful and immediately making money. Whereas if it was on my own, and I can obviously build AI agents on my own, but making it decentralized and on chain and all these things very difficult would take a lot of time. But using our resources, it becomes easy. But also, I think the hardest part about that is like, oh, how does it make money, right? Because like I have to do marketing for it, I have to get it out there. But through like the agent layer, platform, like we already
Hmm.
enable them to do that and get in front of a larger audience. And I think the reason for that is because the incentives are aligned, right? Like in your case, your incentive is, oh, like I get to, you know, save time and save money using this AI agent. And then also you're incentivized to invest in it because you think that this is very useful, right? If something like this already existed. And
Hmm.
so you're naturally going to help, with the marketing, with the funding for it, and then they're naturally incentivized as a developer because they get to build something they want to build, and they also get to make money for it. So it really is a win-win if it's done properly.
Sounds good. So I see, for example, the agent layer has 4+ million users.
Yeah.
How was able to have so much engagement from the community to reach these numbers, and how these 4 million users interact with the platform with AI agents or all the everything? Because there's different products. So you have the AI agents, you have the airdrops, you have the staking with the nodes, you
Yeah.
have several stuff that people can do with it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think overall, like building up this large community, I think within our expectations, but also like I think we're very fortunate. I think it's nice that there's so many people that believe in the mission, and are here to support it, which is great. I mean, I want to thank the community first and foremost because without the community, I think it's impossible to really build something like this in the Web3 space. And yeah, I mean, I think in general, basically a lot of how we built it up was through like partnerships and collaborations. And like you're saying, like airdrop staking, all these things that incentivize people to get involved with the project. Because I mean, I think with any Web3 project at the beginning, it's a lot of it is about like, how do we like generate some sort of incentive for the people that are, supporting us, right? Because,
Mhm.
I kind of view Web3 as like the community is the one that supports the project. And so like, for example, having the capital to be able to list on different exchanges, having the capital to be able to build out this technology, which is, complicated, and also, making it simple for people to use and develop things on, right? That takes time. And
Mhm.
that's why like even now, like we're rolling out like, resources for developers to make this stuff now. And it's taken a while to get to this point, and it definitely would not have been possible without the community. So I think, having the incentive mechanisms for the community, plus having like this big vision that they can understand and they can see the value in, I think
Mhm.
those are like fundamentally the things that really enable us to grow to this kind of number that we have at the moment, and hopefully more in the
Sounds great.
future.
Sounds good. And so you had already two rounds of airdrops. You're planning to have more on the future?
For sure, yes, yeah. So we're doing, a bunch of airdrops always. We have a lot of collaborations and partnerships with a lot of different organizations. Like I
Mhm.
think we had over 50 of these types of events and collaborations where we were doing giveaways and airdrops last year. And I think we plan to do much more this year. And so I think stay tuned for that. And it definitely is, I think of it as like a snowball, right? Like we started rolling the snowball last year. It's getting bigger and bigger. There's going to be more and more people involved. And like, for example, I think through that, we ended up listing on a couple of exchanges, late last year. And starting like this year, we're going to be listing on like a lot of the tier one exchanges in
Which
the
is
near
great, by the
future.
way,
And so I
because
think
now you are officially fully in the market with all the perspectives and also the token and the exchanges. That's really very well done.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it's definitely like an iterative process. I think we had to take it step by step, and I think each step becomes larger and larger, and hopefully gets more and more people involved each time. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we're thinking for moving forward, and hopefully getting more and more people involved, and having more and more rewards for the people that support us in the early stages. So.
So what is the future roadmap now for Agent Layer? Because you have achieved already some key milestones and developments. And what else is for the future? And also, how can we participate on this on the agent layer in the upcoming years? Also for 2025, because a lot of people are looking now, especially for this year. But of course, you're building something which is going to be definitely in the future. So no matter what happens in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, the AI
That'd be
agent,
great.
I think, is going to be there.
Yes, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, I think so. I mean, overall, a lot of what we're doing, I think, can be separated into like a different categories. The first one is definitely like making it more accessible to people to be able to get involved. And so, but when I think accessibility, I think like being able to list on like tier one exchanges, right? And having more accessibility for users and consumers is definitely the first thing. Like we want to make it as easy as possible to for people to trade the agent token, but I think fundamentally be able to have access to that so that they can access the AI agents that are created, right? That's fundamentally what's the most important thing. As for like general developments, there's kind of two things that we're working on. And so the first thing is this thing called Pump Agent, which has an interesting name, but hopefully positive connotations with it. But basically what we're thinking is it's basically like an AI agent trading protocol and launchpad. And so what it
Mhm.
means is really we're kind of coining this new term, which is like an initial agent offering. And essentially what that means is if you think about, something like an IPO or like an ICO, right? Initial coin offering. It's essentially saying that like if somebody comes as a developer and they make an AI agent, that we offer like the ability for them to basically like raise the funds that they need for it from the
Oh,
community to build it. Right. And so, like, let's say, again, back to your example, if somebody was like, oh, I want to make an AI agent that has the ability to take like any unedited video, and then like the user inputs a prompt. So, like, you say, hey, like, edit this in this way, it'll be able to do it seamlessly and easily. Right. And then you say, oh, that's really interesting. Like, I want to invest in this and give it an opportunity to shine. And so like, let's say you invest in it and it does really well, then you get like, 3% of all of the revenue it generates, something like that. Right. And so we want to enable that for any use case with any AI agent. Right. So from things like, personal assistance to all sorts of things like customer support, doing work, helping you with various things, right? And so basically that's the first thing that we want to make. And then the second one is something that's more focused on the development side. So like we've been talking a lot about enabling developers to do good work, right? And so like we have this thing that's coming called Agent Studio, which is basically we want to make it like as low code, no code as possible so that anybody can come and create these AI agents. And having it as simple as like, hey, we just drag and drop things. Here's how you make the UI for it. Here's how you set up the AI capabilities in the back end. Making it simple, right? That's essentially what we want to do, but also having like the complexity for the really skilled developers to come and build complicated, super useful agents as well. And so basically all these things are things that we have planned, and of course fundamentally like the agent token is the thing that supports all of this. And so yeah, I would say those are the kind of big two things that we have planned for 2025, at least in the early stages. I think later on in the year, maybe we'll have some more announcements as well.
Great. So with all of this, what would you say that is the vision of agent layer for the future, for the next upcoming years to become or to do into to offer in the market?
Yeah, so I think overall, like we see AI agents as the future. And so we kind of reverse engineer from there. We say, okay, like, if AI agents are the future, like what do we do now to best enable, people that believe in this future to get involved and profit from doing this, right? And how do we kind of set up a platform where like it's going to last a long time, right? Like, hopefully 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future. Because, as the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang put, like I think he said something like AI agents are like going to be a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. And so
Yeah,
even if we get a
I
little
can see
piece of
that.
the pie, yeah, and like the people supporting us get a little piece of the pie, that's a lot of money, right? So
Yeah.
how do we kind of get to a place where we do this? And I think basically like on our end, we think like AI agents are going to be like the future of work, and the future of a lot of things. And so I
Sure.
think on our end, like we want to just basically, I think fundamentally make this platform where developers, the skilled developers can come make all sorts of different AI agents for all sorts of different use cases. And then I think having like the incentive mechanism there set up in a decentralized way where people can come and support these AI agents. They can use these AI agents and creating that ecosystem, an economy that makes sense. I think
Mhm.
having that in place is where we can bring a lot of value. So that's what we're looking to do.
Sounds good. So we have a lot of crypto AIs projects in the space, and after
Mhm.
this trend with AI agents in the last few months,
Mhm.
several projects they suddenly start developing AI agent products and say like now we have this AI agent, now we have that thing. So in this case, how would you see the competition between you and the market, and also how would that
Mhm.
affect from now on, for example?
Yeah, so I think, if there wasn't competition, then that'd be a bad thing. That means what we're doing is not that interesting. So I think first of all, like having competition is important. I think
Mhm.
it spurs innovation. So I'm glad it's there. And I think in general, how we try to differentiate ourselves is with the community, right? I think like fundamentally, when it comes to technology, it's very difficult to actually build a moat or like a barrier to entry, and that like I have some technology that I built that nobody else can build. I think that's impossible or next to impossible for even like the largest companies. And I think especially in the AI space where things are changing so quickly, but even more so with I think Web3 projects, right? Because it's not no, we don't have like 700 people, we don't have like 100 PhDs like OpenAI does, right? We have like a dozen or so people on this team, and so really then we think to ourselves like how do we differentiate ourselves with limited resources? And I think that really comes down to how can we build this community of people that want to support us, that do support us, and how do we build up a community of developers that want to come and contribute to our code base, contribute to this vision of building AI agents that help people. And so
Mhm.
I think that's where we've done the best job. Like, we have 4 million users. We're going to have much more this year, hopefully. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. So I think that's really where it comes down to is like, how can we differentiate ourselves with, having this incentive structure that everybody is aligned on, because when people are aligned on incentives, that's when you can band together and create something greater than something that we as a small team can build up. So I think that's fundamentally where we try to differentiate ourselves.
That's great. And just to remind to the community that can interact with the platform, especially for the airdrops, and of course also with AI agents for people who wants to earn from this project. And then you have different ways. You have the nodes. The token is in the exchange. It's not a financial investment advice to go to invest, but the products that you have available right now is this ones like staking, nodes, right? Airdrops, and the token itself, which is a use case of the ecosystem. And I would like you also to develop it a bit to tell us a bit more. How does that work? How does it fund the utility, the token?
So I mean, I think fundamentally the biggest utility of it is like using it to access like AI agents, right? So like if I wanted to like use an AI agent, then I would pay the token, the agent token to use it, right? There's no other way to use it. Or like if I wanted to support that AI agent and invest in it, I would use the agent token, right? So it's basically like think about it as if like there's if I'm on Amazon, I'm buying something, but instead of using US dollars, the only thing I can use is the agent token, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's essentially how it works. It's like everything that is like the whole ecosystem that we're trying to create would be powered by the token, and so that's where kind of the value of it is. And of course, like you can then use it to you can stake, you can do all sorts of different things with it, and vote and all the general things that exist as well. But I think fundamentally that is like the most important thing is knowing that it's how you use it on the platform.
Sounds great. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I guess final thought is, I mean, I'm very bullish on, I think, AI agents in general. I'm very bullish in Web3. And so I think if like people listening in are bullish on these two things, then
Mm-hmm.
I think, we are definitely one of the players to look out for in this space moving forward. We've been doing it for, over a year now, and I think it's just the beginning. And I think our early traction definitely has been good, and I hope we can carry it into 2025 with the support from the community.
Awesome. Are you also bullish on 2025 for the crypto industry in general?
Yeah, I think so. We hit 100K recently, and yeah, for Bitcoin, and I think definitely it's going to go up from here. I think there's generally like not financial advice, but just from my own perspective of how I view
Mm-hmm.
things, that like yeah, I think it's going to be quite good. I see all-time highs for Bitcoin. I
Mm-hmm.
see like definitely a lot of countries in the world are starting to take crypto Web3 much more seriously. And I can see more governments getting involved with it. And so that's only going to spur,
Mm-hmm.
things to go better in the right direction. So I'm bullish on it, and hopefully I'm right.
Awesome. Matthew, was great having you here in this interview. And I
Giannis.
hope the community also got more information about the project. So please let us know down below in the comments if you have any questions. Smash the like button, subscribe for more videos, and also check out the links for the Agent Layer website and social media down below in the comments.
Great. Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me again.
pleasure. So with all that, we wish you a happy new year and to be the best year of your life. And 2025 is going to be probably the best year that we live in the crypto.